Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to make sense of the financial world. And I've got a real doozy for you today because we're diving into SD, what's going on and why it matters. Before we dive in, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on these deep dives, and join our Discord community linked in the description for more discussions. Now, this is a current report filed by ECD, Automotive Design Inc. Think of it like a company giving the public an official update. Today we're looking at a report covering events up to July 22nd, 2025. The main event here seems to be their annual meeting of stockholders where a bunch of important proposals were voted on. The first one is a proposal to approve a $1 stock split. Now, what is a reverse stock split? Imagine you have 10 $1 bills and you swap them for one $10 bill. The total value is the same, but you have fewer bills. For a company, it means they reduce the number of outstanding shares, usually to make the stock price look higher and maybe to meet certain exchange requirements for trading. They're asking for the ability to do this up to a 1-for-200 ratio, which is a pretty significant change. This passed with over 52% of the shares present voting in favor. Next up is a proposal about issuing more shares. This is to approve the issuance of shares related to several agreements they have. The big deal here is that they might be issuing shares that go beyond a limit of about 20% of their total outstanding shares, and they're doing this at a price that's potentially lower than the minimum price allowed by NASDAQ rules. This is a big deal because it can dilute the ownership for existing shareholders, but it seems like most stockholders are on board with this, with over 98% voting for it, likely believing it's necessary for company growth or to fulfill those agreements. Then we have a proposal to change their incentive plan. This is basically a plan to give employees and executives stock as a bonus or reward. They want to increase the number of shares available in this plan from 2.5 million to 15 million. This means they're reserving a lot more stock for their team. This also passed with a very strong 98.28% of the shares voting in favor. Following that, there's a proposal to elect a director. Thomas Wood is up for election to serve until 2028. Elections for directors are crucial for the company's leadership and direction. It looks like Thomas Wood was elected with a very strong showing, receiving over 98% of the votes in favor. This indicates that the shareholders have confidence in his leadership. Finally, they are ratifying the appointment of Barton CPA PLLC as their independent registered public accounting firm for 2025. This means shareholders are giving their stamp of approval to the company's choice of auditor. Auditors are essential for making sure a company's financial reports are accurate. This proposal was approved by an overwhelming 99.71% of the shares. Okay, let's talk numbers. The report tells us that on the record date for the meeting, there were over 47.5 million shares eligible to vote. Out of those, almost 25.5 million shares were represented voting in person or by proxy, which is just over 53% of the total. Now for the votes on Proposal 1, the reverse stock split. We saw 25,129,699 shares for it, and only 3,214 against. That's a clear win for the split. For Proposal 2, the share issuances, there were 25,027 shares for it, and 41,10,027 shares for it, and 41,10,207 shares for it, and 41 favor. Then for Proposal 3, the incentive plan amendment, we see 24,999, 1956 shares for it with 436,519 against. Noticeably, there were also 383 broker non-votes, which means the broker didn't receive instructions from the actual owner of the shares, but still a huge win for the plan. Moving to Proposal 4, electing Thomas Wood, we have 25,126,435 shares voting for him and only 85,444 against. He's clearly got the support. And for Proposal 5, the auditor ratification, the numbers are almost perfect with 25,300 and 63,332 shares in favor and just 44,458 against. Now, hidden within these reports is something called an e-extensible business reporting language, or XBRL file. Think of it as a digital filing cabinet for all the company's financial information, making it easier for computers and investors to read and analyze everything quickly. This particular filing includes that cover page document. So looking at ECD Automotive Design Inc. from these results, it's clear the company is pushing for significant changes. The reverse stock split, while potentially making their stock price look more appealing, also means existing shareholders will hold fewer shares for the same percentage of ownership. The share issuance proposal especially because it might involve issuing shares below a certain price threshold, could dilute existing shareholders' stakes, but it's being presented as necessary for agreements and growth. The big increase in the incentive plan shares signals a commitment to rewarding their team, perhaps to retain talent during these growth periods. The strong support for the director and auditor proposals shows shareholder confidence in the current leadership and oversight. Now, for my take, ECD Automotive Design seems to be in a phase of aggressive strategy. They are actively seeking to restructure their share count and bring in capital or fulfill obligations through share issuances, which can be a double-edged sword. While empowering management with more stock for incentives can be good for alignment, the potential for dilution requires careful watching. The overwhelming approval of all proposals suggests that either the management has done a very good job communicating the necessity of these actions, or shareholders are betting heavily on the company's future prospects and are willing to accept the associated risks. The key here will be how effectively they deploy the resources or fulfill the obligations tied to these share issuances, and whether the reverse stock split truly helps them achieve their goals, like attracting more institutional investors or improving their stock's market perception. The company is clearly aiming for a significant shift, and it will be fascinating to see if these moves pay off. Alright, that's our breakdown of ECD Automotive Design's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.